All right, so I own a bike shop, and my obsession, I prefer to call it a passion, is riding a bike. My wife might argue with you, my mom might argue with you on that, whether it's a passion or obsession, but let me tell you a few little stories about how deep this runs. So I got the hook probably when I was 20 years old. I was riding with my wife and friends. We were in the car riding up the Kangamangas Highway. Nice, beautiful place. And I see these guys riding bikes up the hill. And I remember the guy, my best friend in the back seat says, "Those guys are crazy. Look at those idiots riding uphill on a bicycle." And I can remember just going, "Oh, wow. I just want to do that." And I never said a word. I was like, all right, I guess I'm the only guy in the room who thinks that this would be something fun. So fast forward to my 30s, and I started riding a bike. And I started racing a bike. And I started trying to ride faster and faster. And for those of you who are into endurance sports, you're going to know what I'm talking about. It just consumes you. You know, I was looking at the definition of obsession, and part of the definition was talking about how it preoccupies your mind, it intrudes your thoughts, it invades your everything that you think of. And that's how this is for me. Luckily, became my profession. But some of the things that, how deep this goes. So on the second time I broke my collarbone, I was racing again 3.5 weeks later in a race out in New York, and my wife pretty much disowned me at that point. My mom, my sisters, everybody thought I was crazy. But one of the guys that I raced with was a national champion, and this guy Frankie looked over me after the race and said, "Good on you, Johnny." That stuck with me. So I was like, well, maybe it's not an obsession. Maybe this is just a passion. So I can remember I pretty much ride year-round, into the snow, into the rain. I have a training buddy who's got the same passion that I do, and we ride together. I can remember stopping at a store in Richmond, 38 degrees, pouring rain. We've been out there for 4 hours, and we pull into this little convenience store in Richmond. We take all our clothes off. We dump all the water out. The guy's looking at us like we were from Mars or something. So we hop back on our bikes and come back to the shop and do our crazy ride. And just, it just never stops. And I recently found out that there's actually a name for guys like me. It's called mammal. Middle-aged men in Lycra. Oh, and it just horrifies me because I get this thought of old man butt in tight Lycra. But, I'm 58 years old, and a lot of times I ask myself, why am I doing this? And you know what it is, I think? I think it's the only way that you can push yourself. Well, I think of it as this way. So I like to ride till I'm exhausted, and you get this high from it. And I'm sure anybody who's in endurance sports gets it. And I almost think it's like it's how you know you're alive. It's like you escaped the lion that was chasing you in prehistoric times, and you finally get away, and you just sit there and you're like, oh, I lived another day. And I think that's the same high that I get when I ride a bike. So whether it's a passion or obsession, I'm still not sure. But every morning I wake up, and it's the same thing. All right, when am I going to ride my bike today? When am I going to do this? And it's why I wake up in the morning. That's my story. And I still think it's a passion. But everybody in my household disagrees with me, so I think of it as more of a confession.